Hi, I'm Jane Dunnewold, and I'm really glad you've tuned into my YouTube channel today. We're filming another little piece on color mixing, which is great for surface design people, anybody who uses paint for mixed media or any other approach. I consider this part of our best practices series because there are a lot of things that we can learn to do when somebody shows us that are so obvious, and they speed up the whole process so we can focus on being creative, and that's my whole point in being here at all. So today we're going to talk about how to mix black into a color. Seems obvious. You take the color, you take the black, you put them together, right? Not quite so simple. One thing that you would not think that we do, but we do it. I watch students do it all the time. I did it myself in the beginning, and that was to start with the black and start with the color. Let's say I'm using red. And I take that red paint and I start mixing it into the black. So I can mix a lot of red into the color, and you can see that when I paint it out there, that black may have a cast of red that's obvious if you're really looking at it, but it's going to take a lot of this red to get to what I might have wanted. And the main problem is that I'm going to have a boatload of paint, way more than I really wanted. See, it hasn't even changed that much. I'm going to have way more paint than I intended or can use. So I'm going to rinse this brush out again and go at it from another direction. I've still got plenty of red paint, so I'll just start with a new dab of black. And this time I'm going to reverse my process. So I'm going to put the red over here, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of black to it. So it took, not even, I can't even tell you, you know, there is no measurement for that. Is there such a thing as a dib? Took a little dib of black to create that version of the, when you add black to a color, that's referred to in color terminology as a shade. So that's already pretty dark, and if I wanted to go darker, it wouldn't take that much more black in order to shift the color and make it even darker still. It's even more pronounced when I'm using a color that's perceived as a lighter color. So now let's do the same exercise with yellow. I'm using tube acrylic paints, but the same mixing procedure would be true whether you were using textile paints or acrylic craft paint, or actually probably the same, not probably, the same thing would be true with tempera. So this isn't specific to a paint type, is my point. It's a color mixing issue. So if I have this black and I add a little yellow to it, the same thing's going to happen that happened over there. And I don't want to waste all this paint, so I'm just going to mix those together. See, that's roughly 50-50 black and yellow, and frankly, you can't even see the yellow in it. So I need to go at it from the other angle, so I'm going to take this yellow and put it out here, and I'm just going to add, again, check it out how little paint there is on that brush when it comes to the black. Yellow shifts really fast because it's so light to begin with. And the most spectacular thing happens. This is about the combination of yellow and black. Most people haven't done this kind of paint mixing, but you should do it. It's revolutionizing how you think about color, because look at that. That's not yellow anymore. That's an incredible, beautiful version of olive. And the more black I add to this, not much. See, I've overdone it almost. I can live with it, it's nice. Another olive, look how beautiful that is. But it would take a bathtub full of paint if I started with black and added enough yellow to it to get this olive version. So point well taken. Doesn't really matter what color you're starting with. Could be turquoise, could be purple. Purple's a different story because it's already so dark. It helps to get out any of the paints that you've got on hand and mix them all into black to see what will happen. But when you do it, make sure you always add the black to the color in order to be efficient in the use of your paints and not to have any waste, and to close in on the color from an angle that's easier to control. And if you enjoyed watching this and you learned something from it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you have questions about anything you see me do, make sure you ask the question or like it so that I know you were here and so that I can answer that for you and we can keep the conversation going. It's a great learning experience and I hope you're enjoying yourself.